Basically, you're one of my main people in life. You go back to May of '57. We're gonna be 60 years on this, though. I know you.
I know.
I got a dog here who is about 15 in age, and I got him about half his life ago. But what's bothering me is this: of recent, Ray, it was diagnosed in an emergency room on December 5th after he had shown display of like a seizure. That he had an inner ear infection. Inner ear infection, put drops in. December 5th. December 11th, he has another episode. I bring him same emergency room. They say the ear infection's gone. He may have something problematic with the brain. Okay. January 5th, another episode. He's drooling a little bit. I bring him to the emergency room again. Same emergency room. Look, we've done all we can there. Go to the specialty place. Specialty place. 4 o'clock in the morning in the rain, and they say, let me take some x-rays of his body, blood test. They come back in no time. This is excellent interior, no problems with the liver and kidney through the x-rays. Blood is excellent for a 15-year-old, and I got to tell you, the next step, if you're saying you're having seizures, is I will put him on medication for that right now. Start him on it. I said, I better wait for my vet. Because my vet hasn't been attending to this yet because it's been all after hours, emergency rooms, and now you. You got it so far, Ray? Okay, so the next thing I know is that the guy says, I could put you on the medicine that your vet will probably prescribe anyway. But if you want to wait till tomorrow, wait and talk to him about it. So I waited, and he also said that the doctor at the specialty place, he said, look, the x-rays and the blood tests tell me one thing. They tell me he's okay, but we didn't do an MRI on him. And they're talking about like $2 or $3 to do an MRI on a dog. I said, hold on.
When the dog has a seizure, does he come out of it?
Well,
He's back to himself?
he comes out of it, and I put him on the floor, and he doesn't walk straight. He lays on his side, then he gets up. It takes another minute or so.
Oh, he's 15, yeah.
You know?
And then I would not be too concerned of the seizures when they come because he comes out of it.
Yeah.
And then I would go wait for your vet. You know, what does your vet say? Your vet knows the animal. He's been with them, right?
Yeah.
Because I got a 15-year-old. He's a small one, and he has seizures.
No, this guy is small. This guy is small too. He's a 9-pound terrier poodle.
Yeah, that's right. Well, mine's not poodle. Mine's Jack Russell type.
Right. That.
Chihuahua. Yeah. And he doesn't have them often, but he gets into seizures. His head starts shaking. He's laying down. He lays down. His whole body shakes for a little while. Then he comes out of it. I don't mind. You know.
All right. Well, when did he start, and how often have they occurred?
Oh, he's been doing that for about 2-3 years.
But, is that Mrs. Belliveau in the background?
Yeah, that's Mrs. Belliveau in the background.
Well, let me.
Cardoza High School.
Yeah. John Bound, the great John Bound, that nobody knows who he is, but he was a Flushingite, you know. But anyway, look, this is weird. What's weird is December 5, December 11, January 5, and then January 11. January 11th, I finally am in the daylight hours when my vet's open. He says, bring him in. Because the other 3 were the emergency room and the specialty shop. Bring him in. I bring him in, they say phenobarbital in the arm. He's still in the condition. He's coming out of it. That was the biggest one. But here's the thing, Ray. When he comes out of them, he kind of like, I put him on the floor, and even though his back legs are weak, even with the glucosamine chondroitin, he's still stumbling around. It takes another minute to get out of that. Then he's a madman looking to eat, or he'll shit on the floor or something. Now, my question is, because I only got this dog when I was 57, now I'm 64, and I'm going, man, you know, I don't know how to deal with this. People are saying, oh, he's had a good long life, you got to put him down. You wouldn't want to put this dog down.
No. You put him down when he's got no other reason to live. When you see he's in pain, you know.
But how do you know? How do you know?
Oh, you know when they're in pain, Joe. They're in pain. They're working. The eyes are all cloudy. They can't see. They're walking around. Their body's riddled with cancer or something like that. You know. This is what your vet says. Look, you know, you can spend thousands of dollars, but your dog's old. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, you pay the advice of the vet. That's why you trust
Well, they're thinking that at an earlier age, before I got him, he might have had a head blow or something. You know, and now the other thing is the phenobarbital. Yeah, right. Well, the phenobarbital that went in his arm, and now it's a half a capsule every 12 hours, they said that they could have, on a long-term basis, have some problems with the liver. And on top of it all, they're saying, well, you know, if he's still having these little mini episodes, which he had the night after we gave him 2 doses of a half a pill and in the arm with the catheter, he still lay down for 10 seconds, looked weird. Then Saturday morning he did a mini like kind of seizure with no drooling, just shaking, and went away. And last night at 8:20 he did another shake for 2 minutes. And these are in between the medication stages. This is still going on. So somebody said they may need an added something or other to the phenobarbital. He may have to be on 2 or 3 things. You know, I never heard of this. I usually think like one.
Yeah. That's what they call it, a practice. You know what I mean? They try this, they try that. But,
Yeah.
you know, the reason these pills are for dogs that it's not your dog's not the first one who's got that.
Okay.
They've seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they find this medication. It's like think of it like with real people. You know, that some person reacts real well to a medication, and somebody it doesn't even affect them. You know.
Yeah.
You know what the hell? These are people. You know. Same thing with dogs. Some dogs, boom, medication reacts good. Some of them doesn't touch. And you got to find another one, and you find the one that does.
Well, tell me.
That's what you're doing. You're searching.
Yeah, right. Tell me about this dog of yours. He's 15. He's a Jack Russell. What is he, like a 10 pounds or something?
Not even that. He's Jack Russell and part peanut chihuahua or something.
Oh yeah.
He's not real big.
Yeah, this guy's 9
He
pounds.
can't see. I take him out. He doesn't move anywhere. I don't need a leash. I never did. He's
Mm-hmm.
never more than a foot away from my feet.
Right, but he knows where to
When he
pee.
can see.
Yeah.
When he can see.
Well,
He's a jumper.
tell me the experience. Tell me the experience. What's the experience of these seizures? When did they start? How old?
Laying down, all of a sudden his head turns sideways. He starts shaking. His legs and whole body starts shaking like a leaf.
Yeah, but wait a minute. When did this start?
He's going, you know.
When did this start? When? How many years ago?
3 years ago, easy 3 years ago. I don't even remember. See, about 3 years ago, I had 2 dogs, and my other dog was, my king. Well, his name was Cosmo, but he was the dog. But this one we saved. He was gonna go to be killed. You know, I didn't want that. So.
Now the one you got now has started 3 years ago. Did you ever take him? How often were these seizures coming?
I go to the vet. I take him to a vet once a year because I have to. You know, down here they gotta show the rabies shots. You know.
We got that here.
And, yeah, well, if I don't give him a rabies shot, then it gets broadcasted over the internet, and all these people and everything. I start getting threats and letters from the Department of Humane Services and all this shit. So I tell him the last time I gave him a shot for rabies, he had a violent reaction to it. But I think that could have been from the seizures. You know, I mean, I don't know. He had a reaction to it. He didn't do well with the shot at all. He had to stay there until he finally woke up and came out of that. So I said, you know what, to the vet, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to give him any more rabies shots, you know.
Yeah.
So when they say to me, when I get this letter from me, you got to give your dog a rabies shot. Yeah. I throw the fucking thing away.
All right. Now let me ask you something. When he had the first attack, the seizure, he was 3 years ago. Let's say when he's 12 or 13. When did the next seizure come?
I can't say exactly when. Maybe a month or so, you know.
Yeah, but you never saw.
You never know.
You never saw.
I can't say exactly.
But you never asked
It's
him.
gonna come. Nah.
Listen, let me say something.
Put a stopwatch on it.
Well, all right, okay, but let me ask you an important question. Did you ask them to figure out what happened and give him medication?
No, in fact, it was just at the vet yesterday. She had him looked at because he's gotten older now. His breath is real bad. And what they said is he's chewing his skin and his hands are getting stuck in his teeth. I mean, he's old, you know. He can't even see the door anymore. I gotta yell and scream. I gotta wave my arms. You
Well, this guy walks next to a chair, the leg of a chair, or the side wall of a doorway, and then all of a sudden, when he's leaving, he turns his face and smacks it into it. And I go,
Yeah, mine walks into the wall instead of coming through the door. I'll open up the door for him to come back in the house. And next to the wall, next to the wall, next to the door, he walks into the wall.
it's unreal. So for years, you've seen this. You've seen this for years. You've seen the traumatic seizures for years. Does he ever drool out of the mouth?
Yeah.
Does he ever drool out of his mouth though, like when he's having a seizure?
No. I had dogs that had distemper. I had to put them down at young ages, I had dogs that were just not good with people. And they were big. And I had to put them down. I'm rough. My father was that way, Joe. My father was, growing up in Canada when all those summers when I was a kid, if you brought the dog in the house, you might as well bring in a cow. Dogs don't come in the house,
Yeah.
That's how my father was raised. So much about that. For me to sell to my father to have a dog in our house in Flushing, oh my God, that dog couldn't leave the kitchen. And it was a little dog, and fine. I couldn't play with it in the living room. I had to go in the kitchen, play on the kitchen floor with the dog.
I'm trying to remember if I ever saw that dog.
That was Dolly, and my mother really trained that dog well too.
Was it a black dog?
Would go pick up its. Yeah, it was a black dog.
I think I remember it, Dolly. I remember something. It's going way back, but.
Yeah, it's going way back.
But
And
you.
then, on my own, I lived in Long Island. I lived in Queens. I always had a dog. I always looked around. I go to the town and go look up and down like I'm shopping for food. Yeah. So what kind of dog is that? Yeah, that's a nice dog.
But it seems like you don't have to medicate these dogs or give them rabies shots or distemper or bordetella shots and stuff. That wasn't going around back then.
When they're old like this, they ain't gonna get rabies. The dog don't go out. He's not an outside dog. He's not gonna be flying around playing with possums and varmints,
Right.
He's not down here. I got him down here. I got a lot of varmints in the yards, but he's not out there chasing anything around, where he can get the rabies from another animal. He goes out. He pees. He comes back. He doesn't move more than 4 feet away from the house.
And this is
He
the.
pees and poops, and then he turns around and comes back in. He lays down most of his life,
So this dog is the only one who's giving you the seizures. The other dogs in New York never gave you seizures.
No, never gave me seizures, no.
Did your wife ever have a dog with this?
I had them where they couldn't see, they couldn't walk. I had a dog couldn't walk.
Oh my God.
This dog couldn't, his bowels, his digestion, he stopped eating. I said, I think this is it, honey. And then I go bring him to the vet. I said, I think this is it. And the vet says, yeah, this is it. I said, all right. So I called them all up, everybody, the family. I said, look, it's time. You want to come? And Daddy, let him make a paw print, I put him down.
What?
A good life, I look at the bright side of things. He gave me, part of his life. I gave him part of mine,
Yeah, exactly. But right.
As long as he's healthy and in between, I'm gonna keep this guy going. He just walks around. He's weird. He gets out of his bed. He walks around the room and goes back to his bed. Then immediately he gets up and walks and does this again. Then he does it again. He does this constantly all day.
Mhm.
And he stumbles. He can't see.
Anyway, how are you doing?
I would really mess him up. You know what I mean? I'd mess him up if I moved the furniture around.
Well, yeah. Not only that, if you keep giving him any shots and the rabies, that may this really speed up his death. Some of those stuff is so strong.
Yeah, no, that's why I don't give him the rabies shots anymore. He got violent on that, man. I thought he was gone.
How are you doing with your health and your wife? Everybody's all right?
Well, yeah, I just turned 65 on Sunday, and
Oh,
on Saturday.
many more. Happy returns of the day. Happy birthday.
I'm a Medicare baby. I'm going to retire in about 7 months.
Well, why not today? Why don't you retire today?
Because I won't get as good a pension, and I start my Social Security in a year.
All right. So you're just living off the pool money, cleaning the pools.
Yeah. Well, I'm not cleaning. I might keep the motors running. I keep the water in perfect clarity.
You've been at this like for how long, man? How long you been doing pools?
20 years. 20 years.
Was it only Florida? Or you did this in New York?